Radio Vannin, Radio Vannin. Badion Saglion Balakabe.
Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
Sé Claare na Gael viscoiltoya carnish is babaliam osaldacha. My name is Robert Cutting-Carslach, Robert the Carslach.
Have you ever had tell of old Bobby Bob?
And it's my pleasure to welcome you to this bilingual programme, Claare na Gael. Claare hengachi saverl sagilg. It's a bilingual programme in the English language and in the Manx Gaelic, Jinyan Amera, the mother tongue of Alan Banning, the Isle of Man. As Mabanach Dutrish. Having looked recently at newspapers from 200 years ago, I wondered about those from 100 years ago. Well, although 1926 was, well before I was born, there were certainly people that I came to know and to love alive in 1926, so in some sense it doesn't perhaps seem so very distant. Gael vel enema character Tom Mordeg, Gerau mi olach rischen skiel heen, maar so tammy vagen de nacht an skiel shaw, de rol ons jinde serilg. Fair Jane de skielen eves regeren ons chaglem vagint Wilhelm as Jacob Grimm as verclouts en Iochidu jeg. As Philly mentioned in Gullus Gagan just now, Shachley, yes indeed, it is King Hurley who play that music. It's their bonus track or a hidden track on one of their CDs, and perhaps we'll get round to playing the entire thing at some point. But now a wide cross-section of Cornish singers and musicians came together to raise money for the Cornish Air Ambulance with this first song, Sing It Home. Tawas Geestjach, Rus Radio Banning, Stasiwn and Asiwn, Viscoler Scalia Mach, by Dúlish, Ellen Banning.
I hope you get my letter, 'cause I've written it all down. There's something we should shout about, and we should all be proud.
These brave men and brave women, well, they need our voices now. So when you get my letter, won't you sing it out loud? Sing it home, sing it home, sing it loud so everyone knows. Sing it home, won't you sing it home? Whenever you're in trouble, they'll be landing by your side. So let's all fly the flag for them and sing with Cornish pride. No matter where you're from, while you're on a sacred land, our angel up above is there to give a helping hand. Sing it home, sing it home, sing it loud so everyone knows. Sing it home, won't you sing it home? Sing it home with me. Let's look up as she flies across this beautiful land and sea. Sing it home, bring him back to me. Thank God she's watching over us wherever we may be.
Sing it home. Won't you sing it home? Won't you sing it home?
Sing it home, sing it loud so everyone knows. Sing it home, won't you sing it home? Sing it home, sing it loud so everyone knows. Sing it home, won't
people from a lot of Cornish groups involved in that tribute to raise money for the Cornwall Air Ambulance, and there were members of the Stows, the Oggymen, Barrett's Privateers, Canna, Fox Rocks Choir, Boscastle Boys, Falmouth Shout, Newquay Rowing Club Singers, Torpoint Ladies Choir, the In Tune Choir, and we heard the bass voice of Jeremy Griffith there in the middle and at the end, and he's a member of the Cornwall Air Ambulance itself. In the Isle of Man Examiner for the 8th of January 1926, there's an article headed, "The Trouble at St George's." The dispute between the Reverend A.J. Talbot Easter, vicar of St George's Church, Douglas, and members of the congregation, has reached an acute stage. The vicar has, during the past few weeks, introduced 2 changes into the form of service: the ceremonial carrying of an emblem of the cross in the procession of clergy and choir from the vestry into the church, and the adoption of the eastward position when reciting the creed. These changes are strongly opposed as a matter of conscientious scruple by various members of the choir, men and boys. The choir are obliged to turn in their seats in order to face towards the east, and the spectacle has been witnessed of some of the singers turning when the creed comes to be recited, and others keeping their ground. This, then, is an argument between high church and low church, between ceremonial and simplicity. We sjan chovel an sier giri peche, de bege weg na smoene ordeg. A shen morwee, as Vilianu rugged stouw jane woods cheden as ordeg, as hugged Tom ordeg Ged a dugged be my day, chan any riw guest na smoo, ach we slen jint ons na alten egge, as we 4 achtel as krina. Leid er awr en a voir cor Tom ordeg na hai ons clische chavel, as ran e stura a cabel as cart gus a vol van egge jaar a fooi. Ach honnig de jorie, as wat Gael yindes, as wat giri kjonnach da wat a tashben sa balia urgit, as cost na fortune mach as shen. Gen na rau Tom Giri crek ren Tom Gui de ligge de Gael, no de jinnach chit de value is de lia. Huggen de jorie en urgedok as hai Tom meru, as na jade dulje gened weg vergin a jorian. Ach tre henke colleertes, hugge Tom schies ons maar jorischen red. A song in Irish now from Eva Scott, the daughter of one of the singing black family, Frances Black, and thereby the niece of Mary Black, another famous singer. This is Eva Scott. Eva Scott singing about Your Darling O, de Vernino. Geleers voor Tom Mordeger en Tollus of waar, renne rijer soel maast in de klaasjen, as renne vollige heen ons tol loch. Renne denje schirre, ach ons verdeil. Verjaardag erau vegre jenu eg en de jori ach de golde valjes de dorges, gin Tom Mordeg, as gin urge der maar ons na poggedenok. Rosh marau de Tom Goy Savine, chile correge dunje, braich jen cumreg egge, creen achter gedden greem je urge ern tager burjach. As ren Tom gillig macht er au vis egge nacht, as de jinnige saizige macht au en acht. Van daar won je gol jindes, as lug tamelt rennert vetten Tom. Door Tom de wadeschen snauwstjach de barn en onjeg, as koor down de ridden wat giri se tai. Hij meer ugus tai a tagert. Ach, trevi chou stai. Dillie mach den a merli, rauwet giri ulju van. Wat gweer de lord de spugge. Ach, rennellige nach gele, as dillie mach een feest gedden risharu. And the article in the Isle of Man Examiner continues. The dissentient boys, and it's only men and boys that have been mentioned in relation to this choir, so no women or girls involved apparently. The dissentient boys, threatened with dismissal, stated that they were acting on the commands of their parents. The vicar addressed a letter to the parents in question asking if they desired their boys to continue in the choir. And on Sunday last, several boys whose parents had remained incalcitrant were forbidden to enter the choir. As for the men, interviews have taken place during the week in which both sides refused to budge. The right of the vicar to enforce these changes is being steadfastly challenged, and the situation is undoubtedly tense. And then there's a subheading, The Vicar's Defence, and here the newspaper goes on to quote what the Reverend Arthur John Talbot Easter, 1894 to 1969, wrote about this situation in the Manx Church magazine. The tune of the well-known Welsh song Ar Lan y Môr on the Seashore, and that was played by Arianlis Music, who are based in Eryri in Gogledd Cymru in North Wales. Stasiwn yn asiwn ta Radio Fanning as yn sio tawas geis jachrys Claare na Gael. Mish Robert Gydyn Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Ma taw giri clash na cledden Clareish ta caed at John Shen rys siacht yn lwg gol ar sgelia mach, ioris golgus yn y dega Radio Fanning as Raya Cramman eish rish. Ta podcast Jen Claare gedden nasty trwy dyn y dega Radio Fanning nies, na trwy dyn rai chier the podcast ed, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. Now this is what the Reverend Talbot Easter wrote. The congregational meeting was of a somewhat stringent order, in inverted commas, containing a few, more inverted commas, busybodies, from outside in other parishes. How shocking that people have so much spare time on hand. The changes we discussed, I have been assured, are accepted and most welcome by the majority of the regular attendants at St. George's, and therefore I propose to put them in hand forthwith. I've rarely met kinder or more hospitable people than my Manx brethren, and I'm confident that they'll trust my word in these matters. I thought I'd follow up on the Reverend A.J. Talbot Easter, and he'd come to the island early in 1925 to take up his position at St. George's from another St. George's in Tufnell Park in London. He was London born and bred, he says, in another place. And at the same time as he came to the island, his curate from St. George's, Tufnell Park, was appointed curate of All Saints in Douglas. In 1927, so not that long after this, the Reverend Talbot Easter was appointed to a living of St. Paul's in Sheffield. Giel ven choger as a chema benyedde de schemer en tagert, emen tom ordeg, as renny sais soes seljaviek, as vigeestjach. Ach, van a merli, as aalok de jinnach slijtje doru, a rai back pertje in red. Ach, henk dunnel as oru rish, trefod smullion a raweach spotch for gulle jinner weg an airbag. Maar so, henkad rish as dortad rish, maar hanish, de vei trom chusjach, as de chormach dau nie enjach. Esh dilly tom ordeg mach kier delje gehoord as dodde, o catalor nim corolju j Jewish, ach jinshu ach shina mach na lawen jou. Esh ren en wenchar went clashen de bachtel geerchen, as renny lima mach asseljabi, as renny kjau fauslit en doris. Ren de merli reier sul mor de begen shelger kai kloaru. Ach ren de wenchar went, nona doddy fagen weg, gold de redden lamp de jou per de holles. Off to Scotland now, where we find the trio Shean, and they perform a walking song, Peja Fir Royag.
an bach a chréifhine ó láfad ceans míút síntras an séir do hiíochad geala hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala tríce bha míúcht a súgraigh ans le céig an tlú a barí hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala Bráneach geal an chicken siad a cruaidín tarach fan an scaile hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala ócha tups a thormí fógad gus an fóir mís an manas hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala scancarad sa chiiste chéir mín deis na ser a bhí caparig hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala gus an téis na ser gam hiúil an goiglis nan túra geala hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala má chéis de péit a bhír á ag an tágan á flói as mer a hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala hála bhór a haran nó hála bhór ó geala
A Scottish Gaelic walking song, that was Pedja Furayag, and that was Ellen MacDonald, Ailey Cormac and Caitlin Lilly, the trio Shean. Jorishan tre henke wen jaar went back as Lambeck de Chorsolis, for Tom Mordeg engel Rosh marau Kergy Corchilier, as Stiach se told. Lucht en wen jaar went Jean ons de Gully Hole as Chorneel, gin fedden weg, Hai de life a jere, as is smunnion gin aurus, de rawi dremel, as na Sullian as Gleisneck fauslich. Maar sor en Tom Ordegs nou stiach se groenlach, as hure cool houwer ongie de gadle, as we fosen tannachten on shen derben laer jet, as eish de golde valie gus een eres a voiregge. Ach, jinnach ridden elje chit ersen. De jaru, Chanel vegach burre is im nees a tail shaw. Renne ventjar went iri eg brishen lei de azdache na boegen. En chid vol hai was shen stiach se told, as on shen renny trogel nies ledden achlish de groenlach, as hagere der au shen sen ear rok ongie wat Tom Mordeg na lai, as na gadlige trom na rawe goil taste jay beg. The Reverend Talbot Easter had only been in Sheffield a couple of months when he gave the address in a religious service broadcast by the BBC, still a fairly new service at that time, in 1927, and regional opt-outs were very current at that time as well. He did the one for Sheffield. The Isle of Man Examiner writes of Mr. Talbot Easter's departure, which includes this. The retiring Vicar of St. George's has in many ways shown himself a remarkable man during his stay in Douglas. Shortly after his arrival, he startled his congregation and others by parading round the town with sandwich boards announcing the services of his church. It was, however, in connection with the affairs at St. George's that his personality revealed itself. Certain changes which he instituted in the order of the service raised the ire of some of the congregation, and several left the church altogether. The questions in dispute were not fundamentals of religion, but mere details of procedure, and had there been a little more tolerance shown of all hands, gossiping tongues would have found less to do. Soldat Louis is a francophone band from Brittany, but they make the point here that Brittany is its own country. C'est un pays.
Car je l'ai dans le cœur comme tu le crois pas. Quand je suis pas dedans c'est pas normal à croire que le monde n'existe pas. C'est pas fait pour les cons qui râlent après la pluie ou je sais pas quoi. Moi j'aime mieux sous un ciel qui chale balayé par un vent. Non
face qui rappelle qu'il y a méfiance après la langue. On vise la race, que c'est pas trop gêner la France pour lui mettre les pieds dans la crasse. T'évoques l'idée d'indépendance, ne laisserait pas vraiment de glace.
Car ça n'aime pas les conquérants, à la cupidité vénale. Depuis qu'une duchesse dort en France et fait même d'une manière royale. Sa liberté c'est l'océan qui la nuit va rejoindre les étoiles. Et sa terre qui a fait serment d'être à jamais international.
Oiseaux de mer quand ils reviennent près du rivage, que j'ai compris qu'il y a l'enfer mais que ça vaut toujours mieux qu'une cage. Même quand chaque jour est une guerre qui ne se lit que sur les visages. Ici on ne parle pas de sa misère et encore moins de son courage.
Si j'en rajoute un peu tant pis, au début je t'ai bien dit que je l'aime. Dans tout ce merde du putain de pays, bien plus chaud que la gonzesse que je traîne. J'ai pas fini d'ouvrir pour lui je filerais même des châtaignes au premier salaud qui détruit ou qui voudrait lui remettre des chaînes.
That's Breton band Soldat Louis from Lorient, and a cast of, well, quite a few there, I think, celebrating the status of Brittany as a country in its own right. C'est un pays. The Isle of Man Examiner gives a perhaps telling subheading in its article about the Reverend A.J. Talbot Easter leaving St George's after 2 years as vicar. This subheading now reads, "Sulkiness common everywhere, but perhaps worse in the Isle of Man." Well, I wonder whether it's worth reading on. Anyway, referring to his difference of opinion with some of his congregation, he said that when two obstinates clashed, there was bound to be an explosion. But on his part, he didn't want to think that his obstinacy had made any enemies for him. If he had done wrong, he would admit it, and that was more than some of them would do. But pride was a perfectly beastly thing, and made men and women like little children. Nothing could make them come back because they'd been, in inverted commas, hurt. That spirit was human nature. It was the same everywhere, but perhaps a little worse in the Isle of Man than anywhere else! Exclamation mark. Make of that what will. Nevertheless, however the newspaper, or Mr. Talbot Easter, might play it down, it was a fairly fundamental high church, low church dispute that was between them. There were those who felt that these high church tendencies, well, is it high church tendency to carry a cross in a procession and to face east to recite the creed? But these were looked on by some people as perhaps tending towards the ceremonial of the Catholic Church, which of course the low church people were very much against, the evangelicals who wanted simplicity in the service. Heren Tom Ordeg Duster, derre wij ons biel na bear, van oil nise lesje traag. Och, nee, Julia, krenacht ham hier jitte wij choustai muljen. Ach, hoor maakt de leer a bal wij aan. As wij hersen de vieger heilig, nach ginnig eetjit de wij eder fiegelen de bij, as verjaren heraun jaart er ach de gol schies gus bulg na bij. Va na unigen gerudich tred en scheme beg show na roggel doorte, as genod salgen na greinje kaasne stjaag aangie. Genel solse bieren redden. Van eich show ons de gulliwacht njauw ginnelde, as een ridsmedder Va shen de rau trech elje de kinjach tjitstjach on, as van remus gul lina. Va jere dilie mach se gauw moeregge, gehoord as odderge, gin tul you trech mahon, gin tul you trech mahon. Ege trechen, ten van wen jaar went bjaun de woe, as gede dat die clash na chorei, had dat die vagen pecher be. A piece of Manx electronica by Eerie Weasel, otherwise known as Nigel Brown, also of Scanjune, and that was one of Nigel's compositions for the Eerie Weasel album called Faltach, and it was called A Manx Lullaby for a ZX Spectrum. Sure that Stasiwn and Asiwn Radio Vanning os sé Claare na Gael was scolar scalia ma cartnish, Merin Peen, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Have you heard tell of Owl Bobby Bob?
Va aal leg vent jaar ventjes. No den een choreich hedden as I vi a chlashen sanai. Vi go aglet as der any tujum fine stylek, as renny ligge a banya. Esh, renny rai as dris moor or igus a mancher, as dilly a mach, oh vancher veen, ren a woe lord. Ta was as de heel gen aurus door te mancher, as high eshen heen gus a tie ollie de redden mach de van bore. Scone ve a chore chas joust in doris, tre dilly mach tom or degrish, gin tull you trech mahan, gin tull you trech mahan. Esh van sagert, manche went jaar went, Gael aalnjes, as no drau I shielten drau drach spiriten ons jaagse voer, hug is sere de korge besi. Maar so wie marrowit. Ach van bolg, on van Tom Ordeg na lai, kout torren. But doliet moerek Tom cast na mach as. As we karten jenu burne van moer de loers en een gjonegge de golne truud, tre henk argus nowhere. Now, despite the falling out and loss of some of the congregation, the Monas Herald tells us that the people of St George's Church made the departing vicar, the Reverend A.J. Talbot Easter, a gift of 50 guineas, and also presented Mrs. Talbot Easter with a pair of glass candlesticks. Well, 50 guineas in 1926 was a fair whack of money, I'd have thought. But all this was in the future, of course, and in early January of 1926, the ructions from the decision of the Reverend Talbot Easter to initiate an element of ceremonial into the services of St George's were just being felt. The Isle of Man Examiner also carries an article with a headline that caught my eye, and obviously intended to catch the eye of readers in 1926, "This Impoverished Island." However, under that is a subheading, "One motor car or cycle to every 23 persons, a record only exceeded in America." The article goes on to outline the number of licences of various sorts issued in 1924 and 25, including for motor vehicles of various weights and including motor hackney cars, as it describes them, taxis in other words. The Calstock singers on the Tamar sing of beloved Curnow, Cerra Curnow, with words and music by Richard Gendel.
This
Calstock Singers and Richard Gendel's song in Cernueg, the Cornish language, Cerra Cernow, beloved Cernow. And Calstock is the place, is it Beyond Paradise it's called, where they've set it, that's where it's filmed, and it's in Cornwall, but in fact it's purporting to be in Devon for some reason. The Examiner attempts to sum up the motor vehicle returns, making various allowances, and then there's a subheading, A Country of Motor Cars. Paragraphs have already appeared, it says, in various English newspapers concerning the relative abundance of motor vehicles in the Isle of Man, and the statement has been made that in no country in the world is this proportion exceeded except in the United States of America. And the Examiner article compares the number of vehicles with the island's population at the time, which was just over 49,000, and it says that it follows that the island contained one motor car or motorcycle for every 19 of the population. It must be recognised, it says, though, that 360 vehicles registered are hackney cars, and that the Isle of Man as a holiday resort contains much more than the normal quantum of charabanc and taxis. There's no reason to suppose that tradesmen employ motorvans and motor lorries to any greater extent in this island than in other places, so it's trying to adjust the figures to make sense of all that. Ren móda olda agrasach raigus a torran, as renne slugga shees a clenbol de glen. Ach ren tom ordeg call criach. Fuddy smonia de gin na móda olda cor Gael de ressoon. As dilia mach vai choustai in boda olda. Ma boda olda veen, for the minch Dutch ball de gedden lunja yindesach. Cred we shenra gedden, vrije móda olda. Ons tire lie a Sean Douce, a sign dot snoustjach on through the Phoebe Healy, as unshen the ufedden berinen, as bagoon, as broch, whish as fuddy ui. As hugge kunte day, jay tie an egger. Gerau fame instant worden older, en nageert. Renne jinga heen through the Phoebe Healy sonny, as renne flias a chamber store, whish as van mien a gree. Tref a jere, wij jint mach, wij geri snauwer soelrish. Ach, ver jet de wij gemoer, de rauwe nieuw possible day, de snauwbacks red gedden. Eitan and Moira Nichoron make up the duo and Chid Gluinelje, and here they're joined on bouzouki by Cahill O'Coron as they sing Maldu and Liauna.
Talbot mer levis vad de menedier, o ha mamma hele nucher, o shole side sharing a hot daily lady, nu gavelenchera shronuna, she mold of England, she mold of Almighty, she mold of Essential Rosie, so we jane moral go sundag, she mold of England borlom. Når det gemeene nuten, når det vins må bro, skillen over hules right over, Savriel og nå din forska der må hus, maar she vant of England borlom. She mold of England, she mold of Almighty, she mold of this session of Rosie, so we chain more out of rock dance on down. She mold of England borlom. Should I hear my house and they kill that Achensba? Sadi and the live on war. das on Tavra. She mold of Englani, she mold of Amari, she mold of Session on Rosie. So we jade more out, go rogue, a das on down. She mold of Englani, Dorlum. She mold of Englani, she mold of Amari, she mold of Session on Rosie. So we jade more out, go rogue, a das on down. She mold of Englani, Dorlum.
The voices of An Chidgliún Eile, Etain and Moira Nichoran, with the bouzouki of Cahalo Coran and the song about Maldúvan Yauna, Dark Molly of the Glen. As me saw van Mauda all the gotch, as shen morva Tom Ordeg corfeshnes as gawe toyach der ginu fire aglach choustai in Vauda alda, as gillach as gamach mach a word as dodde. Nach biu de host doet de Mauda alda, nieuw doested na fully ton. Nishesh, dame den je beg, towers gint ledden weach, as nish jim riddenach som mahatjes heen, as gawe toyach rish, de yinu whish tar men as dodde. Eliminating altogether the hackney carriages, says the examiner, one gets a ratio of one motor car or motorcycle to every 23 of the population. And then finally it poses the question, isn't it really time then that public men ceased from prating about the poverty of the place? Well, the ratio will be very different today, and the fact of these vehicles being in the island in 1926 certainly didn't mean that poverty had been by any means eliminated in the island at that time. And neither is it today. Ach, Sinead by Claare, Gael and Gael. Between 7 and 9 you can join Chris Pearson to enjoy the best of chill-out music for your Sunday evening. And then at 9 o'clock Judith Lay presents Sundown. Closing Claare Gael this time is music from Welsh quartet Cromlech, and this is Tommy Jenkins singing the very unseasonal Beth Mae'r Habibi, and that'll be followed by Cromlech enjoying Lumps of Pudding, Talpiau Puddin. Next Saturday evening, the 17th of July, good heavens. Next Saturday evening, the 17th of January at 7:30 in Peel Masonic Hall in Stanley Road, it's a Wren son Mannin Feed Heed a Shares Feed, the competition to find a song to represent the island in the Pan-Celtic International Song Competition in Carlow in Easter week. Admission to a Wren son Mannin is free, and all are very welcome indeed, and that's in Peel Masonic Hall at 7:30 next Saturday evening, the 17th of January. Well, Shoche and Trainish, Shenane and Trainish, the Chorkion and Claare, as we saw. Until the next time then, this is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Old Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Eve I'm a Chriors, as duts me Yeri and Share.